praying, like everything. Are you gonna record it too, Woods? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I texted him.
Ooh, oh, we on the YouTube.
oh, you could. I see. I never did this before. This is new to me.
I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, same.
Ooh.
I didn't even know you could. Look at Zoom. Look at Zoom coming up after the quarantine.
What? You got premium Zoom? How you doing this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I figure.
pay for it.
Oh, you paid for
You
it.
don't have to pay?
Uh-huh. I do. I pay $15 a month for it. I think it's
So-
15.
Oh, okay.
So if people go on YouTube right now, they're gonna see this popping
They
up
go
like
to
this.
my YouTube, yeah. I'm about to send y'all the link in a second. I want to put it up on my big screen so that it's out of the way for me. What in the world? I'm on Team Struggle.
Oh, look, director here. What up, man?
Yo, what's up?
What's good, bro?
Hey,
Yo, let me
dude.
tell you how nervous I was about you not being here.
I was in the middle of like an audition.
Wow. Where's Greg?
Look, he's booked and busy.
Always,
Oh,
Ruben.
my
Always
God.
looked at
I
this.
was-
Mbaku.
I just had to deal with. I just have audition, so I put myself in do not disturb, so all your texts and calls weren't received till like a minute ago.
Definitely. Yo, what's going
Woods was in
on?
here bad mouthing you, Ruben. She was saying a
I
whole
bet.
bunch of stuff.
Show was.
I bet.
Show was.
I heard a bunch of niggas this and niggas that were drops. I'm sure.
We are live on
Like
my
you said,
YouTube.
we melanated people until
Yeah.
she gets angry.
Let everyone know that the act is only just that.
Ruben said he don't care that we live.
Right? YouTube is gonna y'all better stop.
You
Y'all about to
you
get my
edit
joint
this one out.
flagged for real.
get banned.
Man, they gonna
I'm
ban us
sorry.
for saying Nick.
For all the white people that come on and actually, I didn't mean to say that. That's not how I meant the word. And they let them say the whole sentence out. We're good. We're in the color zone. We belong there.
Ah, not the
I don't care.
What does the fox say?
Look at the Black Star Power. What's up, Kevin? He's in the comments.
Oh, that's the homie
Oh, let me
Kevin.
put we're live on YouTube right now. Light up the woods.
Ooh, let me put my.
Well, actually, something came up, so I gotta go.
How you just gonna leave? You can't do that.
I would never.
That's not how this works.
You're looking like a Tyler Perry cast right now.
I love it. Again,
Okay, great.
Word.
Tag him.
we don't have the big microphones in front of our heads. The big dookie microphone.
Oh, get your live. Don't disrespect my future boss like that.
It's still good. It's just
That's
something to laugh
very
at.
easy.
You know,
Mr. Perry, I didn't. My name's Nahima McQueen, and I didn't say anything bad
Mr.
about
Perry, you need to get some
love
wigs
Tyler
on the cast list. Gonna be better than the ones you're doing, bruh.
Wait, what?
Tyler, Rashid,
I said
Rashawn.
Mr. Perry need to do a better job with them wigs, and y'all know I ain't lying on that one.
The
I know I ain't
way
lying
on
on that one.
Shamar Moore when he was doing that movie. What was that movie? I could do bad about Angry
You
Black
talking about the
Woman.
one we had the
Life
braids
of
and
Mad
the
Black Woman.
bandana?
Yeah, the braids.
I remember that.
Made his head look even 10 times bigger. I was like, yo.
I'll send this directly to the Perry's office.
I ain't looking to be no actress. I'm okay with that.
That's fine. At least I'll bring that on. everyone
I do.
else.
I think the wigs look great. I think everything looks amazing. Yes.
When I will be I'll be putting the captions. She's lying when I say it to them so they can read it.
No. Yes, I think
Alright.
I will do whatever. I want me to braid my hair, wear a wig.
Teresa and Javi, I'm sending you the link now. You can send it to your people. Everybody else, I'm sending it to you right now. as
Oh, they
well.
people.
Got it.
If everybody could take a second and if you feel so inclined, post it on your socials or whatever.
I'm over here hearing me say party
To
people.
Dominic.
Put that in my
All
story.
right. Everybody's got the link now.
Got it. We love, baby.
We live in this. Did Greg say he not coming? Now, Sharisa, why you text me as if I didn't just send you the link?
You?
What?
In our group chat, you just texted
Oh, I thought I
going
sent
live
it to
about.
my sister. I have so many group chats with so many. I'm so sorry.
Send them that link. I'm like, I just sent
I know,
you
I
the
know.
link.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all good.
I'll do it this way.
All right. So basically, the way it's gonna work is I'm gonna hit record, and I'm really gonna open up the floor. First, I'm gonna ask that general question. You know, what were your thoughts about the show? And then I'm gonna let you guys kind of like throw questions out there. If any of your friends had comments, you want to bring them up. If I see anything in the chat, even though right now it's just Kevin holding us down strong, I'll read those. I'll read those too. Yeah, we just gonna have a conversation and we're gonna have it organically. And yeah, everybody ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it like this.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to screen record it and I'm gonna put it on my story like that. I'm trying to copy the link and it's doing too much for me right now.
What you mean it's doing too much?
I can't put it on my story unless y'all know how. I feel slow.
Oh no, I don't know how to put it on the story. I just know
Me neither.
how to post it like as a regular post.
Oh, like as a regular?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could just text your friends or
Yeah,
Pacific people.
not the Pacific people.
The Pacific people. I'm so glad to see everybody's face, man.
Me too.
We filmed this Joker in 2020.
It's been 2
Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, I forgot about that. You right.
Yes, we was in that whole
Okay.
panorama out here.
Was?
You call it a panorama?
Mm-hmm.
Was?
Oh, we
Word.
still there.
Ruben,
We
right,
still there.
was.
We still there. You're right. We still there. My fault.
Is it your brown skin, baby? Is it your brown skin?
I'm gonna be super annoying on this because I have to be moderator and actor. So forgive me.
So you just wearing multiple hats again, is what you're saying.
As usual.
You know what I'm saying? We used to this at this point, Woods.
Oh, let me send it to
So in the coming weeks, I'm going to well, pretty much in this week and next week, I'm probably going to cut pieces, like clips from this, and post it online. If you have the YouTube playing, you should mute it. Because
Oh, you talking to me? Okay.
It up.
You talking to me? Okay.
I wasn't trying to
Respect.
call nobody out.
Nah, that's cool. I call myself out. You talking to me? You talking to me? I know.
Oh, can you send it to Devontae, Dante?
Oh yeah, I
Or
got you.
just send it to our group chat.
I got you.
Devontae has some hard-hitting questions for us, y'all.
Yo, he has some good ones. He has some good ones.
Oh, he invested.
Oh, sh-
Now, Ruben, I don't know whose government name you have on your screen right now,
Yeah.
but you should
I don't see Ruben.
yeah, somebody government
He's
name.
still
is in his
auditioning, I
spot.
think.
Oh, I don't see.
what? What about? Oh, it's probably my friend's name is on there. Annabelle's on there.
Mhm.
Mhm. Light up the woods. Light up the woods, baby.
All right. Let me know when we can start. Everybody give me a thumbs up.
All right, I'm fully here and present. Where's Greg?
Lord only knows. Ruben, you were in charge of him.
I was.
Did I not write in the chat? Tell Greg about this.
I was.
I have
You
two
have his
witnesses
number. I don't know
here.
what you didn't put him in the chat.
I didn't know I had his number till he texted me after I had started the chat. I don't like making multiple chats.
Awkward.
I don't know what to do. I mean,
It wasn't
we
awkward
could,
until you said something.
I can let's see if we can
I
send it to him. But
texted him, but I
you text him right now? You text him today?
I asked him if he was coming. and-
Oh, then that's all I need to know. I don't.
Eh bien, voyez text não, c'est cousin.
You text him. If he didn't answer you, why are you gonna be answering me?
Because that's your cousin.
Don't say that too loud.
I forgot y'all are related. Like,
I mean, it's Haitians, so it's all it's.
oh, y'all like fake cousins.
No,
No,
they're really
it's
cousins.
like second,
You're
third,
just being
cousin, but
disrespectful.
It's family.
All
second
right,
cousins.
yo. Hey, Shanice in the chat. We see you. Okay, so y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
I'm ready.
Okay. I am recording. Recording in progress. Amen. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Light Up the Woods YouTube channel. But today it's not about Light Up the Woods. It is about Super, the short film. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, you probably don't want to listen to this here chat because we're about to spoil everything. But if you don't mind it being spoiled, we are going to talk about the film. We're going to talk about some of the topics that we brought up. We're also going to talk about some of the comments that the viewers have posted, told us individually, questions and things like that. Yeah, so to start off, I'm going to ask everybody if they can introduce themselves and what their role was on this project. So we're going to start with Miss McQueen, and then I'll call up the next person.
Hi, guys. My name is Nahima McQueen. It felt kind of weird to say my whole name. I play Rochelle in the film. And yeah.
All right, Dominic. I'm just going to the order on my screen.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Dominic Green. I was the editor of the film.
It's Dante.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Dante Burgess, and I played the role of Uma, James's best friend.
Amen. The lovely couple.
Waiting for the husband. But to start off, I'm Sharice. I play PJ, the best friend who was the supporter on the phone.
And I'm Javier. I was the lovely husband.
He played Andrew.
The rough, Andrew.
And Annabelle, can you slate for us, please?
I was like, who's Annabelle? Let me go ahead and change that. Can I change that? Is that thing a
You can change it.
Yeah.
I should be able to change it, right? Yo, hi, how's it going? My name is Ruben St. Villas. I directed this piece and did concessions.
He
It's
also
correct.
casted one of the leading roles. Amen. My name is Woods, and I played Aretha. And yeah, we are missing two people from our cast and crew. Greg, who played our leading man, and Brian, who was our cinematographer. Amen. Oh, I see Greg.
You spoke it
pull
into
up.
existence.
I see Greg pull it up.
Greg's coming.
Oh, snap.
I mean, he was only one of the leading roles. So.
Jesus,
I mean, nice of him to join us.
Hey, the man of the hour.
It's good to see you, man.
It's great to see you guys. How
What's
are
going
you?
on, bro?
You came from the park?
Hey.
Hey, how are you? It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been quite a while, actually. I don't even know.
Yeah.
How long it's been.
He's like,
been
I don't
about
even know who
2
you
years.
people are.
Nah, I remember all y'all, man.
Just woke up?
Say what?
You just woke up?
Nah. Well, I was watching a movie, man. I just had a great poke bowl, so I was in bed chilling.
I'll tell you.
Man, nah, it's great to see you guys. Let's talk about this this film, man.
You actually came right on time. We were just finishing up introduction. So could you introduce yourself and your role in this production?
Oh man. Well, hi, my name is Gregory, as you all know. I don't even remember the character name that I was
That's
playing.
crazy.
It's been so long ago.
Okay.
It was-
That's bananas.
what was my name? What was my name?
I don't remember either.
James.
I'm just playing. Your name is James. It was Aretha and James.
James, that's what it was. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I'm actually playing another character coming up, and his name is James as well. So
Would
I
you
guess
look at how you
I'm just
man?
That
It all
sounds like
started here,
manifestation to
folks.
me.
You hear me?
Sounds some manifestation to me.
Yup. Super did it first.
yes.
Wow.
How is the careers of you guys going? Like, how is everything?
Oh, we got our first question.
Oh, yeah, you
The
guys.
floor is open. Literally, the floor is
Oh.
open.
I mean, I'll start. I mean, everybody's like,
Right? Who? Okay,
I
I
mean, go
I
ahead.
can
Go ahead.
start. So right now I'm currently taking acting classes at Tasha Smith's Actors Workshop.
they.
I absolutely love it so much. Yeah, I'm diving deep. I feel very emotionally exposed, but it's a good thing. And yeah, I would take an audition here or there, but honestly, I'm not really focused on that right now. I'm really focused on these classes and honing in on this technique, this new technique I'm learning.
Yeah,
So that's for me.
that's really great.
That's nice. I mean, I'll jump in next. I have a stage play coming up in April, May. So I've been doing a lot of rehearsals for that. Oh, I'll let y'all know. I was really excited about this. I told everybody that wanted to know. I did my first cue on cry scene and wasn't like fake. You know when you do like the and it's not really cry. Like I had like the real tears rolling down my face. Shout out to my acting coach Wendy. She did her thing. She, you know, very similar to Nahima, get in your body and out of your mind. I'm a very heady person. So like the new techniques I'm learning, get me back into my body. Oh yeah, I love it. So shout out Wendy. Shout out Get Right Entertainment. Y'all, I'll talk more about that, but this is about Super right now. Yeah.
Yes, Dante.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
I'll be like, y'all, that's all.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I am not I'm not an actress. I came to help, and I had fun, so I think that's all that matters. And it was life lessons to be learned, even with this movie in our marriage. So it was great. But as far as career wise, I am a nursing student, and I don't have a life right now. I'm in my books. Woods knows. You want to hang out? No. You want to go? No.
When Sharice declines a sushi date, you know it's real.
You know it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very real.
That's all I want for my birthday. That's all I want for Valentine's Day. What we doing? We're going to sushi. That's all I want. But I'm like, no, leave me alone. It's
I'm like,
all
I'm
right.
says praying
God's
because
willing.
clearly.
God's willing. The end of this year, 2020, I should be graduating from nursing school. So
Amen.
all glory be to God. All glory.
Yeah.
Period.
Mm.
I mean, Andrew, it's only right that you go next.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I should go now, right? Yeah, I'm not an actor, but I play one on TV.
But I'm not a rapper.
Right. But as far as career, I work as a FedEx driver, and I have a business on the side, and that's pretty much it.
It's not pretty much it. This man is through school. Like, that's black love, black
He's a
Come
good
on.
husband.
all
Amen.
that stuff. I was able to quit my job. We're not living famous, but this man
Yeah.
is putting in the work to pay the bills to get me through school. So
Shout out to a good spouse. Come on, G.
There you go,
Black
Black
love.
yes.
Giving me life through the screen.
Dominic, can you let
I
us
guess
know
you could
what's
say
going
the
on
love
with you?
is super.
Hey.
That was a good one.
That was
I guess for myself, I'm just putting together photography exhibitions. A couple of them. I'm in Baltimore, so all of you all that are like in New York,
Okay.
and working on a monologue series. I'm not doing a monologue. I'm filming somebody doing like Shakespeare monologues, like a group of young Black actors. So that'll be coming out in the next few weeks. So
Yes, please share it with us.
for sure.
Annabelle.
Absolutely.
Annabelle, can you tell
Yo,
us how
y'all
you're
gonna stop
doing?
calling this man.
Oh snap! I'd be like, who's Annabelle? Yeah.
Wait, do you not know this person who Zoom you?
Yeah, no, I know who the person is. I share the Zoom. What have I been doing? Staying Black.
Like you have a choice.
You're Black?
No. Other than that, I just as an artist, as an actor, I've just been trying to hustle. I finished since this was 2020. Yeah, this was crazy, right? This was the summer of 2020. Since then, I graduated from the Atlantic Theater Conservatory.
Hey.
Congratulations.
I fully entered the business fully as a full-time actor. So between then, I've been able to pick up and create a representation team as far as agents and manager goes, and just been hustling. Last year, I was able, my first like 7 months in, I was able to do a couple small projects, and I got to book a commercial that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I seen that commercial. That was dope.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. I got to do a commercial with Budweiser, and it was like a wide holiday campaign they were doing, which was cool. And now I'm just auditioning every day, just trying to. This is the job, right? It's to audition, and everything else is just extra cherry on the top. So it's pretty much what I've been doing is staying dedicated to the craft and trying to push every single day.
Oh.
That's what it's about.
As for me and my house, we've been serving the Lord. Amen.
Come on. Because that is a career.
Yes, Lord. So what I've been working on is trying to figure out ways to raise funding for this series that I wrote back in 2019. It preceded this production. We have now filmed the pilot twice. Amen. And we are still waiting on the Lord to provide funding for the rest of the season. So that's really what I've been focused on. We're actually going to rewrite some of the episodes because we have about 8 episodes written so far. But when as an artist, it's just sometimes you look back and you're like, wait a second, this could be better. And so right now we're working on making it better. And hopefully we'll be able to start filming the rest of the season. My hope is in the summer, but God gonna do what he want to do. I just know that when it happens, it's gonna be dope. I'm also just trying to look for auditions and things like that. That's where I'm at. We have a Baltimorean in the chat right now, Dominic, who is excited because that is their hometown. Hey. Shout out to Regine.
Not Baltimorean.
Yeah.
2022.
22 in the avenue. So I'm gonna
wait. Dominic, do you speak the
Baltimorean?
I don't call it that. I would call it the true English.
No, actually, I'm not from. So I'm from DC. So I'm not even from Baltimore. My wife is from Baltimore, so she can. I can't. So
it's hilarious. It's hilarious, but it also really like dope that exists, and like Black people just making it sound so eloquent. I just love it.
It's like a whole nother language. Like
it is
because like for our cities to be so close and like we sound so different. It's so crazy.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
All right, I'm going to throw the first question out. This one comes from, I'm not going to tell you everybody where the questions come from, but this one I want to make known. This comes from our good friend Devontae.
The homie.
And his question is it okay for your spouse or partner to be more vulnerable with their friend than with you? That question comes from the scene where Aretha has decided she's no longer going to talk to James because James don't want to hear about her troubles. And so she entrusts PJ. And this causes a big argument because Andrew cannot figure out, why are you talking to PJ when I'm right here? So is it okay? I'm going to read it one more time. Is it okay for your spouse or partner to be more vulnerable with their friends than with you? Anybody can answer. And anybody in the chat, I see there's 15 people watching. Y'all can answer in there too. If I see it, I'll speak it. You guys are part of the conversation as well.
I mean, I think this is like a layup for the married couple, no?
I don't put them on the
Okay.
spot.
I'm not answering this. I don't have no spell.
You can have an opinion.
So,
We got Hobby over there laying down the groundwork. We need to hear some of this stuff.
Amen.
all right. So here's what I would say. I would say yes and no. Because it's natural for you to speak to your girlfriends, have that girl talk. And not everything that you all speak about, you're going to speak about with your spouse. So that's another level of vulnerability. Now, if she's speaking to her girlfriends about everything and then not speaking to your spouse, then I would say that's where the issue may rise.
So you're saying that it's okay for them to talk to their best friend as long as they're not excluding you?
Yeah.
Cool. Anybody else want to chime in?
So through marriage, I've learned that men have a capacity to hear but so much, and then after that, it's kind of like, so anytime, I'll try to, it wasn't an argument, but I just talked to him because I had failed a test, and I came to him and I was like, Black women being vulnerable is hard. It is hard. We are told to be strong. We are told don't complain. We're told that you got 2 strikes born against you. You're Black and you're female. So when I'm vulnerable, I need you. And when I can't be vulnerable and you show me this is how important you are by either watching sports or doing something else, I want to shut down. So I had that talk with Javier because I needed to tell him I feel like building walls. So I think there are times where I need a different perspective, especially if we're bumping heads and I need somewhere place else to go. Woods knows. I'll run right upstairs to her house. This is what happened. I don't know what to do. So, I mean, I do think that there are things you should bring to your friends, but if your friends, from a Christian standpoint, if your friends are not directing you back to your spouse, be like, I can't believe he did that, then I don't think you need to be talking to those friends. You can have your yes friends and everything, the friends that was like, oh yeah, he did you dirty, but let's pray for him. But let's talk about it. What else could be wrong? Here's what I think you did. The ones who will give you that real, like Woods would tell me, no, Sharice, you were wrong. And I need that. If you can accept that, you can take that. So yes, you can have those relationships with your girlfriends that maybe, you can't talk to your husband with at some point. So yes and no. Depends on who you're talking to. Who are you talking to? And what information are they giving you?
The people in the comment also want to hear from the single people as well. They say our opinion matters. I'm just speaking for the people. Amen.
Well, I guess I'll jump in. When it comes to again, I'm personally thinking it's a preference thing, because when it comes to being open, that's not easy for everybody. Like some people have people that they confide in more. Maybe they've known their friend longer than they've known their spouse, or, whatever the case is. Some people just have better rapport with other people than, whoever they're sharing their information with. But I don't personally think there's anything wrong with it, unless what's wrong with you is in turn going to affect me. So let's say, I did something wrong and I don't know what I did wrong, but your friend does. That doesn't help me because now I don't know what I did. And now they know, but I have no idea. So now you're angry, but I don't know why, and I can't do anything to whether it's apologize or try to make the situation better because I don't know. So it's like for me, it doesn't bother me, but I do feel like there are some things I should know, especially if it's going to affect me directly or affect you directly.
Mhm.
That open and honest dialogue I feel is important. But again, people feel comfortable with who they feel comfortable with. So ultimately, it doesn't bother me. But I think chiming in on what Javi and Sharice said, kind of the idea of pick and choose what's being told, but being in the loop is important. Yeah, to me.
I
But I don't
completely
need to know
agree
every
with that.
single thing.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I think it's a case by case basis as well, and I think you have to really, I guess, consult your partner and know, like, hey, is it okay if I disclose certain information to a friend? Because some people aren't comfortable with you telling your relationship business to other people, regardless if they're your friends or not. But no, I don't know. It's very confusing as far as relationships go, but you just have to be very careful about what you disclose in general, I guess.
I think I am definitely not married, praise God. But I do
Yeah.
feel like it really depends on your spouse's, in my opinion, comfort level when it comes to the person that you're speaking with. If it is somebody that your spouse is not going to be comfortable knowing their business, that is not the person for you to talk to. But I do think that it is necessary to have a sounding board that is not your spouse, because what will happen, at least in my opinion, this is me talking, not knowing nothing. Just out of having relationships with people, sometimes I have to go to somebody else and be like, this is what happened, and say it in the anger. So then I could be like, okay, now how am I going to bring it to this friend in a way that's not going to cause conflict? And without that sounding board, you are hitting them every time with a lot. And I feel like that will cause a lot of friction if you don't have that sounding board that you can kind of dilute or what do you say, Sharice? Make knots out of nets, make nets out of knots. Yeah, make
Yes.
nets out of knots with
Yes.
before you bring it to your spouse.
Mhm.
But again, you have to be respectful to, like, is this somebody my spouse will be comfortable with knowing this information? Yeah, so that's what I had. Yeah, amen. Anybody else want to chime in?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll throw another question out there.
Question.
What do women need in a relationship to feel seen and heard? What do women need in a relationship to feel seen and heard? Now, this low-key excludes half the panel, but if you should be bold enough to speak, may the odds be ever in your favor.
Life has taught me enough to know when it's time to talk and when it's time to shut up. And I think I'm gonna take this as one of the times to shut up. So
all right. What do women need in a relationship to feel seen and heard? I'll start this one off, and if the rest of you want to chime in, go for it. I encourage it. I don't think there's a cookie cutter thing that women need. I think what women need is for you to know who they are.
Mhm.
Right? So for me, I have had the misfortune of dealing with men who have dealt with females who are nothing like me. And they try to apply the same thing to me that they use with them. And I have a lot of grace. I have a lot of patience in the beginning. I'm telling you, look, this is not going to work for me. I'm not a gift receiver. Don't buy me no gifts. But every time you think I'm upset, you show up with something that's really going to piss me off even more. I don't feel seen. I don't feel heard because you keep bringing me something that makes me uncomfortable. That makes sense?
Mhm.
Every female is different. I feel like what we need that can be cookie cutter is for you to get to know us and to act according.
Mhm.
And that makes you feel
Mhm.
seen and heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with Woods 100%. I don't think it's black and white. I feel like you can, like, for me, I agree with you in the sense of it's like you can a person can like give you all the right things, but it's like if that doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me. I definitely feel like the whole, I know like some people are aware of like love languages and some people have taken the test, but I feel like that's really helpful, especially to take it like over like probably once a year or like twice a year, because we do change as people and we do evolve. And I feel like knowing somebody's love language, knowing like what's important to them, like what will keep reassuring them, like whether it's quality time or physical touch, whatever you have to keep doing to just reassure them that you're still in this and still committed. I think it's definitely important to know somebody, because I've received all the right things from the wrong person. And like, it just has to be right person, and like the right person knowing you and what you need. So yeah.
I agree. We did the love languages. So mine was quality time. You know, I don't care if we're just sitting in the same room texting. I just want you to be present. So I think every woman just, they need something different. Like what was hard is that I'm a person who loves touch, and my husband grew up in that kind of environment. So it took him time. I felt like my needs weren't being met, but it took him, I didn't also give him the grace to warm up to that. So I could be randomly studying and now he just walks up to me and hugs me and gives me a kiss on the forehead. And I'm like, that's all I need. So, and there's different seasons for different things, you know, whatever it is I'm going through. But I think is don't stop studying me. We just talked about this before getting on. It's like, I would never want to learn what this relationship is forever. There's no such thing as divorce, because I'm not trying to learn or teach nobody else how to love me. This man took the time to love me, get to know me, and still learning me, and I'm still learning him.
On the job training.
So I think, you know, getting to know me or getting to at least sit down to do something different out of your comfort zone, grow with me is a necessity in anything for a woman or a man, is grow with me.
I'm gonna flip the question. What do men need in a relationship to feel seen and heard?
Man, this is such a weird question because I feel like usually society doesn't care to know.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm personally like, I just got out of a relationship like not too long ago. So, and in that relationship, I did not feel seen or heard. So, you would think that, you know, because I'm a very logical human being, and most men are. We don't really operate on too many emotions. We just operate based on the logic we hold. And I guess we think that, oh, in specific times, women want our solutions to things, and they don't. They just want us to listen, which is fine. But coming from a logical person, I guess what I would want is, or what I think other men want as well, is just to know that we're allowed to have feelings and, you know, maybe listen to them. And whether that means we're like crying, which probably won't happen because as men, we probably won't cry in front of you. We'll probably do it behind closed doors. Or if we do cry in front of you, you know, you really got to be that special someone, you know what I mean? Like you really do, because it really takes a lot of guts for us to do that. But no, just, I guess, just to know that we're allowed to feel something, express it every now and then.
That's good.
Kind of piggybacking off of Greg, you know, I've had situations where it's like you feel like you're walking on eggshells. Like I've had situations where it's like, you know, I feel like what I'm doing is never enough, right? Again, that's the person that I chose, or the people that I've, you know, women that I've chosen, or whatever the case is. And that's more of a reflection of now me, right? Who I'm attracting is kind of indicative of who I am, right? So now it takes me a little bit more inward to look and, you know, what I would allow or not allow. And I don't mean it in the sense of like, you know, listen to what I say. It's just I've got red flags now that I know are like huge red flags for me. So one of the things that I do is I'm just open and honest with everybody, because last thing I don't care, you call me any name in the book, but a liar is not going to be one of those things that you're going to call me. So I'm going to tell you the truth, and you may not like it, but I can sleep at night knowing that I've told the truth. Now, my biggest thing is kind of to Greg's point. feelings, emotions, wearing your heart on your sleeve is not easy for everybody. You know, I've had, situations where I legit, to Greg's point, have cried in front of, a spouse that I had at the time or a significant other that I had at the time. And she'd say things like, what are you crying for? Or you need to get over that. Or you need to just, figure that out or whatever the case is. And it's like, once I heard that, I'm not going to hold you. A part of me was just like, okay, I don't know if I'm like, if this person is really in it for me, because I don't just cry in front of anybody. I told y'all how excited I got about doing it as an actor, right? I don't cry in front of nobody. So if I'm doing it, it's because I'm very vulnerable. I don't do that in front of anybody. Yeah. So if I do it and the first thing you do is like kind of just move my feelings to the side because I'm a man and I'm supposed to just get over it, that's just going to completely disregard me. I don't need to be here for that. So like for me, it's just kind of to Greg's point, in order for me to be seen or, heard at least, I don't want to be tolerated. You know what I mean? I don't want to just be like, oh, well, he's here doing it. No, I don't want that. I want it to be, to Sharice's point, I don't believe in marriage. I mean, the divorce. I don't believe in it. Once you get married, it's like, we in it, right? If we found a way to love each other the first time, we could do it when things get a little rougher. Because anything that's worth it, you got to fight for it, kind of thing. So me personally, it's about the fight, right? If I'm feeling the type of way or you're feeling the type of way, I'm not going to give you solutions for every problem, because I know women, especially the ones in the comment or ones that's part of the cast, I know what we do sometimes. We be coming through like, here's what you need to do to solve your problem, but that's not what y'all want to hear all the time. Like sometimes,
that's
like Greg said,
I want to hear most of the time.
We need to just be like, oh, word, yeah, that girl, she do be pissing me off too. I hate when all that happens. Just kind of like be there, just that kind of thing. That's something that I had to learn, but I'm big on respect. So if I'm doing that, trying to understand who you are and understand that maybe every solution or everything doesn't need a solution, then when I have an issue, I would accept or expect that same kind of respect. Now, if I'm not getting it, then it's a whole nother kind of thing. So ultimately, it's just to be seen for me. It's like, make sure that I know that I matter, because I will, if we're together, I promise you, I will show you that you matter to me. But I need that to be reciprocated both ways, because I don't believe that, the phrase happy wife, happy life. I believe in happy people, because if I'm upset and my wife is happy, that's cool. But now I'm upset. And if I'm happy, but my wife is upset, that's cool for me because I'm happy. I believe that they should both be happy. I don't know of a cooler way to say it, happy wife, life, those rhyme. I don't know of one that rhymes with people. So
happy spouse, happy life.
Let's
happy
go with that.
Spouse, happy house.
See,
come on with the rhyme.
Come on, Dominic. Come
on.
How do you miss that one?
That was it.
I'm gonna blame it on the day.
No, but question.
On my long days.
I thought in my head, I was like, how do you miss?
Well, forgive me for not being Superwoman. Okay.
No, but question. Why is it that, I get it. Y'all say y'all don't.
I don't like the way you say question. I'm a little intimidated. Go ahead.
Y'all really don't want solutions to problems. That's okay. But I pose the question: if we have the answer as to how something could be solved,
don't say,
because you'll say
I'm bored.
You'll say,
hey, let the young buck learn one way. He's got to learn eventually. So let him. He's gonna have to learn eventually.
Yourself. Don't do it.
Hold
on. Let him ask the question.
So, because I don't want you to tell me anything. I just want you to listen, and I get that. But if I have a way that could solve your issue and fix that problem for you, why would you not want to listen to that solution or that explanation?
I think it's dismissive. It's dismissive for the fact that I'm open and broken in front of you, and I need more than just a solution. I need your company. I need more than that. You can go to somebody and say, what's 2 + 2? They come with the problem, but why don't we think this out together? What's going on? What's happening? I think women, let me speak for myself. I need more than that. I don't need you to just solve my problem and put me away like I'm just a tinker toy you just figured out from IKEA pamphlet. I need to be read. I need to be understood. I need to know that you understand where I'm coming from, that you understand the emotion, the anger I'm feeling, and why I'm angry. Not, oh, well, then just smack in the face. I mean, it's easy.
So to that, I wonder, because us men, we kind of look at it a little differently, but I see what you're saying. We kind of see it as like, we care so much and we are not dismissing you so much that we assess the problem and we say, what can I do? Or what can I say to help her? So, babe, have you ever tried this? Maybe you should try this to maybe fix this solution or fix this problem. It's always a solution to a problem, and we care enough to express and show you that solution.
I'm gonna say this. The problem I feel like most men fall into the when they think that way is that you fail to take to account that this person that is your spouse or a significant other, they're probably smart enough. They know the answer to that. It's just the fact of the emotion of having to go through it. And it's not something they planned out. Most of the time, it's not something they planned out, but life in itself is not always black and white. And emotion, I think men think that we can just calculate logically everything and not understand the emotions to it that are attached to it. Like if I'm feeling something, if I'm feeling anger right now, it does not, like if I'm angry as a man and you tell me calm down, as a man, I'm gonna be able to compose myself a little bit, but it's not gonna happen like that. That doesn't happen to any human being, right?
Yeah.
If someone's sad, you're like, it's okay, you can be happy. That doesn't happen like that. That's not how human emotion works. Most of the time, men were trained to a point where even if we're upset, we'll keep it inside.
Mm-hmm.
Where women are, thank God for women, if something affects them, they'll be visible about it. And especially Black women who have to be like Sharice already said, have to be like guarded all the time. If they find a spot in you to confide in, yes, sure, the solution will come. But you can't skip the fact that they're hurting, they're crying right now. The last thing they want to hear is, but babe, why don't you do this and this? Because what we end up not taking into account is that they're smart enough, they probably know the answer to that, or they'll get to that answer, but they can't skip over the human emotion that they're feeling at that moment in time.
That makes sense.
And,
that makes sense.
and the one thing they want,
man.
the one thing they're asking of us for men is to be there to hold them and just be in that moment with them. That's all they're asking. But we tend to skip that because we're like, well, why don't you just do this, this, and this? Not taking into account that A, they're smart enough they can get there, and B, that does kind of dismiss them. And we as men, are human beings in general. You can't just tell us to turn off the emotion just like that. It just doesn't work.
That was good.
Ruben
That
coming
was
through.
real good.
Yes.
I 1000% agree with you, Ruben.
Yes.
I think I don't want to speak for all women, but I'm going to speak in a general sense. If this does not apply to you, please don't put the shoe on and do not marry the prince, okay? Now, I believe that most women, when it comes to our significant other, we really just want you to be our friend, not our mentor, not our teacher, not our professor. We want you to be our friend. By the time I come to you, I've already troubleshooted the first 3 things you about to say.
Yes.
I just needed my friend to hear me.
Yes.
Like I just needed a place to set this down because I've been carrying it on me by myself. And you are supposed to be a safe space for me, right? So I come to you to be like, I'm gonna tell you like this is what happened, and then you say, did you try listening to me?
Mm-hmm.
Did you try comforting me before you tried to troubleshoot me? I just need you to be my friend first, right?
I think, not to cut you off, I feel like it's really 2 sides of the same coin. There's a point to what Greg says is that sometimes, man, we are literally thinking, okay, there's a problem. Let me solve it for you.
No. Here's the thing. I agree with you, though. I agree with you. I think on the other side of it, as women, we get a little sensitive to it a little bit too quickly, and we don't realize that if he's just trying to help.
I feel like it's 2 languages being spoken. Like I have to learn that my significant other is a smart person, but sometimes they want to vent, they want to complain. She just wants to complain. And I had to learn after a while just to be like, no, and just let because I know eventually they're going to get to the answer. I just know that. Or they trust me enough that I can be like, well, how about this, this, and this? And they'll take it if it works for them. But I had to learn the idea, like what Greg said. That's why I was like telling, hey, but let the young buck learn, because we all had to go through it. Not to be so quick to be giving solutions, because your partner is smart enough that they get the solution. That was her telling me, like, yeah, you gotta speak out louder. But but I just had to learn that that's just the way they had to cope with whatever situation comes for them. And then I just had to learn just exactly what you're saying, Woods. Be there. But I think as men and women, it's like two different languages. Men, we see a problem, we want to fix it, right? We want to handle it, get it done, and move through it.
Yep.
It's not like it doesn't hurt us. It's not like we don't take but we're trained to like, solve this problem. There's a
Because
problem.
men are generally more pragmatic. Like that's how your brain, for the most part.
I don't know if it's brain or we're conditioned in society
that too. Yeah.
Because when
That's
it comes happen, what happens vice versa? Vice versa is like when we're going through a problem, women or significant others want to be like,
keep going.
They want to be, when our significant others, girlfriends, wives will be like, hey, babe, how are you feeling? All this and all that. And when we hear how are you feeling, like it's okay to cry, let it go. It's weird. We're like, man, like I'm mad right now, but I gotta go handle business. Versus actually taking that time to let our feelings sit in. So when it's the other way around, it's still weird in a sense, right? So we're conditioned to be that way, but when it comes to us having issues, thank God for women to help us to stop and be like, yo, this is hurting you right now. You should just take a moment and deal with your feelings versus trying to like logically think our way out of it. Feelings and logic, is a weird mix. It doesn't always line up. And I think
it's perfect though. I mean, in the sense of how God made people, and I'm gonna talk about Jesus, that's just what's gonna be. But men are the logical part of us, where I was told that women are more like, we have Holy Spirit characteristics. We don't just solve the problem, we want to know what's going on with everything inside, because we can solve a problem. I mean, you could cut off the top of a weed, but the weed still has roots. It's going to go back. We want to know, which was hard for my husband because I wasn't always a safe place. I'll admit that. I was not a safe place all the time. And he had to tell me, yeah, I can't come to you because you'll just shoot me down. But when I wanted to know, hey, what is this problem about? What's going on? He would completely shut down because I had, either, try to solve the problem or not listen to him at all. But that Holy Ghost characteristic of, I need you to be known and that I want to know what's going on. We get to the emotional side of it because on the outside, everything is logical, but on the inside, you need a tune up. There's some message you didn't you didn't allow yourself to feel, like you said. And then we just end up, you end up stuffing it. And then all of a sudden, then there's this big blow up and we have no idea what's going on.
Anybody else want to chime in on that question? Greg, that was a good question. Thank you very much.
Yes.
That boy good. Okay.
That boy
good. Does anybody want to? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna throw one more question out there. Okay. The question is, why does therapy get such a bad rep in the Black community? Why do you think therapy gets such a
because
bad rep?
most of the problems we tell people, they don't want to listen. Like I feel like most of the problems that Black people in America, not all, definitely not all, but most of it, we know where it can be stemmed from, right? And all of us, like you line a whole bunch of, you take 100 Black people and that are going to therapy and you ask them, why are they going to therapy? You can probably link most of their problems to a certain type of condition that we have to live in this country. And it's not, I feel like, our ancestors and the ancestors before us that would live this land and other lands abroad, they weren't given the humanity to just be like, hey, I need a moment. Like slaves weren't given a moment, like, hey, master, listen, let me tell you right now, like I'm having a hard day out in the fields. It's hard. And the master's like, all right, HR, let's check with HR. You should have enough days to go there. Like that wasn't a thing. So between slavery, racism, and many things connected in between that just over time build up. Black people were told, we tell our young, the world is already against you. You got to learn how to survive. We almost like we birthed soldiers and we forced them to go into a battlefield war that they had no part of to beginning, and neither did we. And that PTSD, that all that just accumulates. And we just like, man, shit, it's just another day. You know what I'm saying? It's, it's just another Tuesday. And I saw this one another video where these two kids are fighting, this white kid and this black kid, and literally two officers come in, and instead of like pushing these two young children aside and figuring out what was the root of the problem, what going on, what happened, and try to get to the root of it as adults, they and this video was clear as day. The white kid was the aggressor.
Yep.
They automatically tackle the young black kid and arrest him, and push the white kid who started everything out of the way so they can get to the black kid, and they don't stop to ask questions or anything.
Yep.
And it's like, if every day you have to step out of your house and you have to put on a brave face to go to work 12, 14 hours, and you're not counting the time to go there, not counting the time to get back, you get home, if you have kids, you got to worry about kids. If you're a family, whatever, you barely have enough time to just relax. Because by the time you have the time to relax at the end of the day, you have to go to sleep to wake up to do the whole, all over again. You don't have any time to breathe. You have to deal with a system that you were born in that had nothing to do with you, and it's just against you from the get-go. And we bear that trauma onto our kids. So when you hear the thing of like, quote unquote, safe space, we haven't had a safe space for a while. So when we're introducing this new idea of mental health, I think it's interesting to see the pushback. I think it mostly happens in Black men, which is interesting because Black men also want to be cornerstones or the leaders of the culture. And I don't understand how you can do both, because you have to deal with the baggage to be able to push the culture forward, to lead the people forward. But like I said, I feel like we birth soldiers as Black people in this country because we already tell them from the get-go. Here are the rules of engagement. This is a setup against you.
Thing. Sorry, it's also like a cultural thing. Like, I just started therapy because nursing school drove me to therapy. I mean, I don't know if it was the end of it, but I found myself crying and thinking about things because in nursing school, you have mental health to deal with. And we had to watch a video about abuse, and it broke. And my teacher was like, "What is wrong with you?" But all my life I was said, whatever happens in my house stays in my house. You don't go out and tell nobody. You keep it to yourself. We don't need nobody talking about this family. And that's just how we dealt with things, even through all the abuse that was going on in the house. And I'm quite sure other family members knew, but you kept it hush hush because you don't want to make the family look bad. A child needs to stay in a child's place. Whatever's happening to you, you'll grow up, and I guess you'll just be damaged like the rest of us. And I didn't want that. I wanted a healthy marriage. I wanted me to be healthy. And I said, no, I'm going to talk about this. And thank God there's been some leeway. Thank God my professor pushed me. She's like, you have to. But at the same time, like you said, Ruben, that we have to be better than our white counterparts. So anything that shows even a hint of weakness already knocks us down 10 pegs, even though we're -5 already. We're just down there. So it's like, no, you be strong in front of everybody in and around you.
I think it's interesting that about how many, like, the statistics as far as Black therapists go, right? I don't even know if, like, I think you have to be a special person to be a therapist. Me as a Black man, I think I would go to a Black man and a Black woman, only because I feel like, dang, Black women already have to deal with everything. Why do I have to lay my problems on this one other person? And then a friend talked me out of that. That's like, no, that's just a little something you have to deal with. But I was like looking, I remember in college, I was looking through, I went to college in North Carolina, in Greensboro, North Carolina. The amount of Black therapists in North Carolina, there was like 3, and none of them were near where I was. Like, none of them were near where I was. I was like, all right, that's not gonna happen. So I ended up going to a school therapist, and it's like, you never feel like you're going to. I remember sitting there going and talking, and I only went like 2 or 3 times, but that's just what I needed, and it helped me at that moment in time. But I never thought I was going to speak more than I actually end up. When I left, I found myself going, dang, I talked more than I actually thought I was going to talk. And I didn't necessarily feel too much comfortable with this lady, because a lot of things I wanted to talk about would be like, yo, I'm one of like 80 Black people in a school with it's a small school, but it had like 5,000 kids in it. And like I'm only 80 Black kids, and we're not like, we see each other passing. The school has a lot of issues that I just have to deal with, and it's the first time where I couldn't like feel like I couldn't talk my way out of it or deal my way out of it, so it stacked up or whatever. And so when I've heard like the idea of just having a Black therapist, to me, we first must encourage people to be therapists, because that has to be cool, or like something that people want to do. Because for Black people to find a safe space to be able to let down your guard and like emotionally just let out everything that you're dealing with, and have someone receive all of it and take it and be willing to sit there and continuously see you get better, I think that's a special person. But in America, just like Shani says, like as a Black man, I was in a barbershop. I was in a barbershop and they were talking about going to therapy. And one dude's like, man, I thought about going to therapy. And they all started clowning him. And then I was like, nah, for real. This other one was like, actually, me too. And then one by one, they all started talking about how they thought about going to therapy. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, one of them was like, well, damn, why we don't go? And they're like, well, and they pointed at the barber. He's our therapist, right? Because they come here bi-weekly and they talk about things. And I'm like, wow, we're already doing it without knowing it. Why don't we just go to someone who's a professional? Because this barber's cutting hair. But it's such a cultural thing, right? It's a cultural thing to sit there and talk about, man, that's what happened, that's what's going to work. And they don't understand that they're doing a therapy session, just talking about things. And one of them was a cop, and he's talking about his duty as a Black cop in New York City. And they're all here talking about these heavy things, but laughing at the same time. And I'm realizing, like just Shanice says, like, they felt comfortable here. And, especially one of them, like I said, being a Black cop, here he's talking more about issues he sees and has to go through as a cop in New York City. Mm. And he felt more comfortable in the barbershop because he knew that he could let that guard down. And that's
barbers are a therapist, though. That's what it is.
Barbers go through things too. That's why I'm just like, actually, Nico, the guy's name is Nico. My barber's name is Nico. Nico's like, man, shit, I'm not your barber. All y'all need to take your issues.
No, every barber has a barber. So
every barber takes it on. You're right, Greg. Every barber just take it on. But I'm like, but he has issues too. And it's like, but they're there for each other. So they make this therapy group session because they can feel vulnerable. And like Shani says, be able to let that guard down and not worry about being seen as weak, or especially in a world where we quote unquote have to be better than our white counterparts. Can't show no weakness. It's it's like I said, it's just like we birthing soldiers.
It's also expensive. Like we can't afford therapy. Like we're too busy. Like literally, like Ruben and Teresa saying, like we're literally so focused on working and breaking generational curses and birthing generational wealth and trying to sacrifice for our families and take care of our families and make it that we don't, like, all of our money is going to our dreams, our projects, our goals, our nieces, nephews, that who has time to be paying somebody $250 an hour because that's how expensive it is for at least a good one that's going to listen and talk back to you and give you homework and do all that. Like, it's expensive. And we all know in Black communities, we are not making, like, the white household makes 10 times more than a Black household easily. Like, so it's expensive for us. So it's just like, to even think that's literally so far removed from some people's reality that that's not even an option at all. Like, I'm very, like, grateful that I was able to do it. I'm able to do it, even though right now, like, my art itself is my therapy, but like, it's not like I'm not far removed from people's reality that that's not even an option for them. Like, therapy, what? Like, I'm too busy trying to make it to tomorrow. Like, I don't even have time for that. So it's definitely money, like, too, like, practically wise.
My teacher thought that she could get me to talk to her friend who was a therapist. And she's like, oh, she's really cheap. The lady was like, oh yeah, I can do 300 for 45 minutes. I was like, no.
The sad part is that is cheap. That's
Yes.
the sad part.
But the school
Like,
offers it free, so I took whatever I got, and I got a Black lady, and I was so happy. I was like, this lady's gonna understand what it means to be church. She gonna understand what a butt whooping was. She gonna understand, what it's like to have a different face in front of white people. What it's like. She grew up hearing, the things that we heard as little boys and girls. It's different. It's different, and I'm just like mouth garbage because I'm comfortable with her. I am the ugly part of me, and she's just like, girl, I got you.
I think that's almost sad that we can't, like, let me just go to white therapists. But I just like now, especially in the last 2 years, where we see, I don't know about many other people, but there have been people in my past, like people that I grew up with, that I cherished and whatnot, who showed their true colors in the last 2 to 4 years. And they're teachers and they're educators and they're like working as police officers and firefighters and nurses and like people who do public service. It's like, dang. So what happens if you out here spilling all your guts to? It's a thought you have to think about. So you're sitting here spilling your guts to someone, and they technically what they think about and how they grew up, they can't relate, nor can they have the ability to have empathy and sympathy for you, and you're coming to them for that. So I think that's so beautiful that Shanice, you were able to get a Black therapist, a Black woman therapist, because I mean, say what we want. They're saying things that, even as a man, you have to have that's why I say therapists have to have a certain special type of personality and spirit, because empathy and sympathy, those are the tools that you need to have. And how can you do that and not be fully remove yourself so you can fully be there for that someone? And that, I think that between that and just how expensive, is like, therapists covered by insurance? Is that a thing? Can you
somebody wrote into the chat that
But not for long.
you can use insurance. It just depends on what insurance you have. What I ended up doing was calling my insurance provider and asking, and they gave me a list of therapists that were in network that would be covered, but you still have to pay a copay. And for some people, that copay is still a little too much, hence why I don't do my physical therapy. Hello. Does anybody else want to touch on this question before we move on?
Yeah, real quick. Also, when it comes to therapy, when people hear the word therapy, they automatically think, oh, something is wrong with you.
Yes.
Like, oh, therapy, what's wrong? Like, what happened? Like, but the thing is, therapy, nothing has to be wrong. Like everybody said,
talk, Javi, talk.
I got family members who go through it, and just being able to have somebody to talk to, and doesn't mean something's wrong with them. They got issues. I mean, we all got issues. We all got something that's going on, and just to be able to unpack what's inside of you can really save somebody's life.
Facts.
Yeah.
Like, mental health is not something to play around with. Mm-hmm. People go through things, and that's something too. People are really suffering as far as like, holding stuff in, and because they've heard their whole life, oh, therapy, don't do that, maybe something's wrong with you, they don't go, and they just suffer even more to the point where they're literally killing themselves. And if they just had that one person to just be like, this is what's going on with me, and just getting that help can really make a huge difference.
Yeah.
It can be cultural too. Hispanic.
That's what I was gonna say. I want to hit like, as a Haitian, like there's not even like a word for therapy in a sense of like, oh, you went to therapy. Like there's not really a sense of that word in our Haitian culture. like that's a very like new age kind of thing. And like I can't these people just basically they found their therapy through whether it's cultural things like music or dance, or a lot of my family I know is like through faith, right? They would pray and whatnot. And I think that's therapeutic too. I honestly 100% believe that. But I don't personally for me, I don't think Jesus is going to love you less if you go to a therapist. Like, I don't think that or God is going to look down upon you. But that's not even an option. It's not even in their spirit. So like for us, we're like first generation, especially for me, I always grew up biculturally, because for 8 to maybe 12 hours a day, I'm Black American, but then I get to the house, it's
Right back in Haiti,
you
sweetheart.
back in Haiti, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of things, especially now as I'm a lot older and mature, I can look back and I knew it. I was just like, yeah, I dealt with a lot of issues that have been cool to talk to someone. And it's funny now because I see a lot of these like Haitian Instagram pages and stuff where there's a lot of these comedians and they make jokes in light of things that were, and then in the comments like, oh, I went through this too. Oh my God, all parents the same, all this, that. I'm like, whoa, me and my brother share these things, like thinking we were the only ones in a sense going through this, finding out our parents were pretty much carbon copies of one another, and this whole generation were just the same because they learned from the generation before them. And I was like, how cool would it be to actually have a therapist where you can talk about these things with, and be able to do that. But like I said, it's not even a cultural thing. So even when I first went, it was like, I was like, I know there's nothing wrong with me, but I just need someone to talk to and figure these things out right here and right now. And I didn't have the tools to be able to speak to my parents because they wouldn't be fully able to understand it that well. So it was cool to talk to someone, but it'd be better to be able to talk to someone that also understood culturally. And I think as we progress in the new years, like there's now these Haitian therapists and like whatnot. And so now we're finding ways where you can find someone who's also culturally in the same aspect as you, so they can understand you on a different type of level that you probably wouldn't be able to get 20 years ago.
Anybody else want to touch on the question? All right, I'm going to give you guys a moment to pull up any of the comments that your friends may have sent to you, questions that you may have prepared for this conversation. And as you reach for them, I'm just going to read a couple of the comments that we got into the chat to give you guys some time. I have a friend who wrote, in my experience, going to therapy means that you don't trust God for your healing. I'm going to need whoever's listening to YouTube to bring the volume down real quick for me. Amen. This friend says, in my experience, going to therapy means that you don't trust God for your healing. I do not believe that at all. But as soon as I started therapy, my family was very uncomfortable. I thank God that I did not listen to them and invested in my mental health. We have another one that says, great point, Nahima. I guess my question is, how can you effectively break generational curses if your mental is not good? That's a good question. That's me reading from the chat. Feel free to either answer that question or to throw one of your questions or comments out there.
I feel like there's enough free stuff out there now where you can start to like ponder and think and see videos in YouTube or Instagram. There's a whole bunch of free stuff now where I feel like even if the person doesn't have the means to go see someone physically, there's enough resources if you know how to, find them that you can start the journey.
Yeah, I feel you.
I think also sometimes Black people have, I know it's kind of going back to the last question of like why we are not as like accepting of therapy, but I think our expectations are sometimes off. And I say that in a sense of sometimes we think, like Javi was saying, like sometimes we think people go to therapy because something's wrong with them. So then something needs to be fixed. And then it's just like, okay, I've been here for like a year and I'm not fixed. And sometimes it's like you have to reset those expectations, because it's like it literally takes years, like for people to, sometimes it may take like a few months, but like sometimes it just takes a while to see a breakthrough. It just takes a while to literally like heal from something. Like, you know, it's not overnight. Sometimes you even have to go through multiple therapists. So yeah, the whole process is definitely like not easy. And I think yeah, therapy is therapeutic, but it's like the process itself does have its like bumps in the road. And I think like as a community, if we could like be more aware of that and talk about it more and say like, oh, I had to go through several therapists and like I had to do this and I had to do that, and like I also had to open up my mind more, like, you know, to just talking and being vulnerable. I think like definitely like just like resetting our expectations when it comes to that. And I also feel like I know it's a little different because like I'm an artist and like a lot of us are artists here, but I feel like art itself is therapeutic. I don't think therapy is just sitting down and talking to somebody, like literally like sitting in front of them. I think therapy is like a lot of things, because you learn about yourself, you heal through a lot of different things, not just talking to somebody. So whether it's like exercise, painting, like whatever it is, I definitely feel like therapy is not just like one form of doing something.
I agree. I think, again, much to Javi's point, I think we have to, as a community, focus on prevention first. And prevention doesn't mean we're anticipating something going wrong. It just means, you know, making sure that we're good and in a good space. Intervention second, so that like not waiting till things are really, really bad, but like if you notice something is happening, intervening before it gets worse. But I think oftentimes we are more inclined to skip all of that and go straight to reparation, where it's like now something has to be repaired because something done broke.
Right.
But if we had focused on prevention or intervention beforehand, we don't have to get to the place where now we have to repair something.
Right. And I think also like to answer the question of the person, they said that, you know, how can you break generational curses if your mental health isn't right? And the answer is you can't. Like you can't break any generational curses if your mental health isn't right. And like literally mental health is everything. Like to me, I'm a huge advocate for it. I definitely it's like hard because like you don't want to neglect what somebody's going through, like, you know, having bills to pay and having to work, but at the same time you're like, but bro, like your mental health seriously comes first. Like I know you have to work, I know you have to like do all these things, but if you could take like a moment to pause and to really like breathe deep, do like something, like talk to somebody, it would seriously like accelerate your whatever else you have going on in your life. Like for me, I always find that I'm more productive. I do more effectively. I practice better when I take time to literally just, okay, like calm down. Like, you know, like whenever I prioritize my mental health, I literally find myself doing more. So I feel like people think when you prioritize your mental health, it's going to slow you down. And like, oh, like, you know, like I don't have time to be deep breathing and woosahing because I'm on the go, I'm on the grind, I'm hustling, you know, like we live in this overly ambitious culture where it's like, yo, I'm on the grind, like this and that. But I'm a huge believer in like, yo, like rest, pause, it's okay. Like that's just me. I know like some people are just like, no, like no sleep for the week. Like, but I'm not into that culture. I think that's very like, okay, like stupid. But I definitely think mental health, yeah, you can't really break generational curses if you're not prioritizing your mental health. Like you can literally be, I don't know, like exercising and doing all these right things, eating right, but it's like your mind, if your mind is not right, bro, nothing's right. Like Lauryn Hill said it best, how you gonna win if you're not right within? Like you really can't, because I've literally experienced it myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm working out, I'm eating right, I'm doing all the right things, I have a good job, but inside I'm dying. Like So yeah, I definitely think mental health is everything. And I would encourage anybody out there to, if you're like afraid that you're gonna fall behind, or you're gonna like you're losing in a race against, in reality, you're not racing anybody. You're in focus on your own lane and your own journey. But I definitely feel like, yo, like your mental health, don't be afraid to prioritize it as a Black person. Like you're not gonna be behind, you're not going to fall off, you're not missing out on something because you're prioritizing your mind. Like you're not only are you, is it gonna bless you, it's gonna bless people around you too. And it's gonna help them to put themselves for, if you're a parent, it's gonna help your kid. Like it's seriously going to like change your life. So mental health first, guys, seriously.
Yes. I'm gonna pose it out there to the Christian community who will shame me for going to therapy. Oh, you didn't pray hard enough. Oh, you didn't, But when I came to you and I told you my problems, the one who understands the Bible that you are supposed to help bear one another burden, and you tell me, oh, did you pray about it? You think I didn't?
Right.
You think I didn't? I think God has
If I had a
strategically put these
dollar
people. Say that again.
I said if I had a dollar for every time somebody.
And when I
said
do
that.
tell you, you say you're gonna pray for me, and then because I've done it before, I'm gonna pray for you. Go home and forget about it. And forget to pray for that person. These people are strategically put in place because as a community, as a Christian community, we fail each other. I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm not. I went to one person and I was like crying, and she's like, you shouldn't be crying. But tears are a language that God understands. And I retorted, well, if God, how many tears do I have to cry before God understands me? And she had not a word to say. I spoke to my therapist about it, and she could understand that there was a depth there that I didn't even know was there. And the Christian, I want to point that out. The Christian community fails in that and then we put the pressure on pastors to fix hundreds of people in the congregation at once. Help me solve my problem. Help me do this. But I don't think they must be infected with demons. Or, they're depressed. That's nothing but the devil. We throw some holy water in your face. I'm sorry. I'm still angry. I'm still this way. Right. Sometimes it is chemical. Why can't it be chemical? Why is it always spiritual warfare? There may be some of that. There may be. But, if that's the case for every person's sickness, don't take them to the doctor to get the medication they need.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're always like, as Christians, sometimes it's like we're trying to pray away everything. Like, let's pray it away. Like, let's pray away all the bad stuff. Like, when has life ever been like that? So it's just like we were talking about earlier with men. Oh, I just want to solve this. But it's like, yo, I feel like it's the same concept where it's like, oh, I just want to pray it away. Like, you can't pray away everything. And in fact, you should really like get in there and, like you said, unpack it and go through it, because that's where character is built. That's where in your struggle, that is where you learn who you are. That is where you get stronger. That is where everything happens. There's really beauty in the struggle. But if you're too afraid to get down and dirty, then you're never gonna learn anything.
I think it's also like I mean, I don't harp too much on the church only because they're part of quote unquote civilization. I think as a society, yes, because I mean, we can go for days about the church, and I think you're absolutely right, 100%. It's funny because we're supposed to call it to be community, but that's, as a society, we also just, mental health doesn't manifest itself physically. Like if something's physically wrong with your health, right? Like, let's say one day Dante shoots me, right? Woods got something else. Let's say that, right? Some people can be like, I'm gonna pray thoughts and prayers, right? That whole Americanized token thing, thoughts and prayers, right? But it still takes physical work to make sure I get better. So along with your thoughts and prayers comes a physical doctor, nurse, team, applying physical things so I can get better, right? I healed, I'm good. Yay, thank you. Yay, prayers were answered and work was also done. What's the saying that,
Bible says that faith without works
is right? So bam, bada boom. So I think not only is that in church, but it's also society. Mental health doesn't manifest itself the way physical health does, right? Until it's too late. Until we hear on the news someone went into a place, and physically harm people. And I was like, wow, he was just a normal, everyday person. He looked white. I mean, right? He was fine. He was good. Like, I don't know what
He was just
happened.
smiling yesterday.
But it's like, but that every day that person you find later on, you went to that person's home and like clear signs of mental health that was very low or wasn't where it needed to be. You know what I'm saying? So like, people are also quick to dismiss mental health because it doesn't manifest itself physically. And when you realize a lot of mental health, sometimes people are dealing with things and just sitting down and talking to them. Hey, like, what's going on? And talking to them. And then later on afterwards, you want to end with a prayer. Do you mind if I pray with you? So that way we can put it, not only we know it's working in God's hands, but also afterwards, continue to check up on the person. How are you doing? Is there anything I can help that can make your day even just a little bit better? Things like that. What is it? The whole smile because you never know what kind of day someone's going through. Small things like that. You know, we don't realize that because we are quick to shun people because, I mean, we live in New York City, y'all. You know, how many people on the streets or in the subways aren't really just because they're home, but not only do they not have a place to truly sleep or call their own, they probably have issues and deal with, and a lot of maybe mental issues. They found out, and it's not addressed till it's too late. The last guy, that guy that pushed that young Asian woman off the train onto the train tracks, and like describe a mentally ill person. I'm like, well, you later find out they knew about this person, but no actual true steps were done by our community, by our city to help individuals when they have mental health issues until it's too late when it comes out physically. And then we have usually harm done, not just to themselves, but to other people.
Anybody else want to chime in or throw out a comment or question?
Or the other comments.
Yeah.
So I actually received a comment from someone. They are Christian. I don't know why I said that, but I kind of feel like it plays like to their opinion of what they said. So they liked the film, they enjoyed it. They thought the acting was great, but they felt that the cursing was unnecessary. So my question for you guys, well, for Woods also as a writer, and then for you guys as participants in this project and, you know, viewers, do you agree with them, or you don't care? Do you
I didn't even remember
feel
that
like
there
it was
was cursing in it.
necessary? Huh?
I didn't even remember that there was cursing in it.
Yeah, me either, until they said that. Me either. I was like, wait, like it
Down
literally
here
started to tell
saying
me.
the
I was
F
like, wait, there
word,
was
the
cursing in
S
it?
word, and the D word.
There were 3 F words and an A word, just to clarify.
Oh, you counted, so you did it. It was intentional. You counted.
Look,
Yes,
I
you
think
wrote it.
whatever the story, if the story calls for it, then sure. I'm not gonna say like it should be 100% clean. I mean, like, if the story calls for it, sure. You know what I mean? It's acting, and it's a story, and you know, in stories and in life, people curse. You know, people get angry, they get happy, they get upset, and you know, these are real life situations. You know, people have emotions. So
I hope Greg is right. I only think it's funny that you Naeem, when you like instantly said this person's Christian to like preface why they think that way. Because I think it's funny that certain demographics, especially religious, because it's not just Christians, it's other religious groups as well. I'd be like, y'all think outside world people don't curse? Like that every day people curse every day. I think to try to color dialogue in a certain type of limelight doesn't add or take away from the film 100%. I personally, if it's just thrown randomly, right? If the cuss words are just thrown randomly, then I'll be like, this is weird. Like,
Right.
have you ever seen projects, TVs, productions, movies
Yes.
where you're like, you could have just said stuff, bro. You really have, why is this person? Not that I care that much, but as someone who is a Christian, I guess in a sense, I would say I am fully 100%. Yes, I am. But what I mean by that is like I don't clock everything like that on 100% level. Like, oh my God, this person cursed, because I know I've known some pastors to curse. And it's always been funny to me because I'm like, ooh, if anyone else was around, it's always been I'm the only one that was around when they did it, so no one would believe me. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, if the dialogue is just thrown out there, where the cuss words are just out there, then I don't think it matters. But if as long as it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense and it's like, this is just someone who has nothing left to say.
Right. Limited vocabulary.
But like, you know, what's counted the limit that, you know, Christians are allowed. We're allowed five cuss words. So she counted the limit that would get her to heaven.
I think for me, that's like what was like, that's why I just wasn't even aware of it or like bothered by it, because I obviously like know the writer on a deep level. And I know she's so purposeful and intentional about everything she does. So I'm just like,
she gets upset and then it turns into a nice.
I don't try to play me here live on this YouTube
when she upset, all them stuff come out.
All the stuff come out.
They are lying. I rebuke these words in the name of Jesus. Amen.
No, I'm more worried about content. Like, I'm a person, I guess call it what it is, call it my upbringing as, you know, rooted in faith. My whole thing is like, when I see like sex scenes for no dang reason, I get tired. That's why I like HBO. HBO will never get my money. I watch things for the content, for the storyline. Now, if it makes sense, if it drives the whole plot forward, okay. But I don't like to, like, that's where I feel like I'm like, I'll clutch my, I'm like, ugh, can we just step past this? Because I don't like sex scenes, because they're just, most of the time, it's just peppered in for shock value and for like scandalous, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the story. But if we're talking a place where people just speak their minds, as long as every dialogue makes sense and drive the story forward, then, you know, and yeah.
Okay, so my response to the cursing was unnecessary. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So if it was too much for you, then God bless you. But for me, cursing, I remember being in the 8th grade, and well, before I say that, I'm gonna just say, if the cursing took you out of the show, then you were not really in it to begin with, because it was very purposeful, especially the placement. I remember in 8th grade, I had an English teacher who was the first person to really like talk about cursing. Like, before it was like, just don't curse, period. But this particular English teacher was like, it's part of the language. Like, it's a word and it means something and it holds weight and it holds value. Don't use it frivolously. I remember he gave us an assignment where he required for us to use some curse words in there, but if we use it frivolously, we would lose points on the assignment. Like, it had to make sense. And so in this short film, Aretha, doing my character work, because I played Aretha, she's very guarded, right? And she also, because she's a paralegal, she doesn't want people to see her sweat. Not on top of that, she's a Black woman in America, so she definitely don't want to see nobody see her sweat. So she very rarely loses her cool outside of her safe zone. She thought that and what the boy name is? James. Child, help me. She thought that James
wrote the script again?
Listen, I'm old.
I was.
She thought that James was a safe place, but you see that the moment that she realizes he's not a safe space for her, she draws back in, right? So when they're having the argument, she doesn't even feel safe to be truly angry. She doesn't even feel safe to blow up for real. And so the only way for me to depict her anger was to make her curse, because that colors the scene for us. Because she's not getting loud. She's not really raising her voice for real, but she's angry. So I put the words in there because at this point in the movie, this is our climax. This is our conflict. And I need a way to really color it without, like, you don't have to scream to express anger. And so for her and for that scene and the scene that follows, because even James, he's upset because he's like, why is she even mad though? And so he drops the word as well. So that word in that exact spot was to color the anger without having to be loud. If the cursing took you out of that scene, you was not in the scene to begin with. And that's just where I stand on that.
Fudge you. No, frickle you. Remember the Orbit commercial?
You lit
You
liquor.
kumquat.
You're lit link, you son of a biscuit eating bulldog. Yeah.
Any other comments or questions before
I got one. I got a question. Like most people don't know this. Like we shot this in.
Don't even play. It was 3 days.
Okay.
Maybe less because we started in the evening.
So maybe 70 hours, because I ain't gonna say a full 72.
It was
maybe
not the full 3 days because you had work the first day.
Yeah. But we shot through that night, barely slept, got up that Saturday, shot through that Saturday, went all the way late into Sunday, early Sunday morning in my
and then
living
sent
room.
it to Dominic to edit in 2.5 seconds because we ain't had no time, but continue.
That's the question. That's my question is, like, Dominic, as because I was surprised when we got the final product. I don't know why. I was like, oh, we did a good job. This wasn't bad. I mean, it was because I was a directing. I was like, I don't know why Woods trust me with this. We just gonna swing it. But
oh my gosh.
No, but as a director, it's like I very clearly early on just make sure I had a vision of what I was seeing. There's certain scenes, like when they're in the ice cream parlor.
I love that scene.
That turned out like I was like, go send that to the Oscars. Let them send me
I'm gonna tell
my
y'all,
directing award.
Dominic, I don't know if you have the first cut. We had to take out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the first few cuts were long.
It was beautiful though.
Really?
But
I wish we didn't have to cut out so much.
Why'd you have to cut out?
Because the festival that we were entering in, it had to be 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
For Dominic, once you get like a very raw thing like that, because I think editing, in the award shows, they really don't show the editors like when they win the awards because it's not quote unquote sexy. When I think, listen, editors have made and broken careers. Just simple, and any actor who's in the industry and is high up will tell you they're worth their work. That's why like Denzel's known to be in the editing room. George Clooney and all these guys will go into the editing room to take that. I remember Chadwick Boseman, before he passed away, talked about when he finally was able to have say and be able to have influence of what happens in the editing room, but also know when to stand away and back away. But as an editor, when you didn't know any of us, right? So you were just given this project, what was your process like putting it all together in such a cohesive way? Because I know we set certain takes, right? For like a scene, it'd be like take A, B, C. Like, how did you fit everything in, and what was the process like for that?
I guess basically, in terms of editing for me, it's kind of like a form of writing. So I write a lot. So for me, it's kind of the same process. I'm taking everything you've given me. I watched all of it first. So I learned when I was younger, a guy, he worked on like Belly and different things like that. He would be like an assistant editor. And I would sit with him when I was younger. And he told me, just watch all the footage. Watch every single thing, no matter how long it takes. I know I didn't have that much time, but the clips are like, what, minutes maybe at
Mhm.
max. Like, so it's just sitting there and like, okay, let's do this. And then I think Woods gave me like the script of it. So I read that as well. I was just like, okay, what's the feel of this? Because I think Woods, we had like maybe like a 5 or 10 minute like long conversation on the phone. And then it was just like, all right, I got you.
Yep.
For me, it's kind of just understanding who she was. I liked her when I talked to her on the phone. So I was like, all right, I can kind of do this because I might like dealing with this person,
Right.
like
Right.
just in conversation. And again, the whole topic of everything, kind of being vulnerable. So for me, it was just going through this process, watching each thing and saying, okay, this looks good together. Y'all did a marvelous job for 70 hours. Some people can't even get that stuff done in a month. So for
No,
all that to happen was amazing. But it's just the process, just really watching and kind of letting your scenes unfold for me. Because if I don't let the whole thing unfold, I'm not going to know, what to put together. Because there's different things, like everybody has different nuances and how they express things, how their faces are, how do they repeat the same action? Like, because a lot of people don't repeat the same action. It's small
continuity.
little details. And I'm like, okay, like, but you all did a really good job. I was like, oh, maybe more production should be a little shorter. Because it makes people kind of be on the ball. But for me, it was just really just watching and taking down everything for the most part. I watched everything probably like twice, 2 or 3 times. And I was like, okay, let's get started in this process because I know it's a limited time period. And I probably stayed up that whole time, like the whole like 2 days that you guys, I slept probably like each day, maybe 3, 4 hours just to make sure I can get it done for you.
Well, we
Um,
appreciate you. We appreciate you,
Yo,
brother.
can we get a round of
Yeah,
applause for
yeah.
Dominic? Yo,
Thank you.
thank you.
Because I think having the great cinematographer that we had,
Mhm.
who was specifically purposeful about shooting Black people in a beautiful light.
Mhm.
That's why I love the date scene because it was cold. We were moving on the go, but him and I understood our conversation and the angles. We didn't have to talk too much. And Woods knew exactly what she wanted from her character all the time. Greg was ready to play ball. And I think when we popped up to certain scenes and we shot, Brian was, though he's not here, he was great at being able to capture the lighting. But we didn't always have the greatest lighting all the time. Or sometimes I was like worried about like, will this scene work well with this scene? Thankfully we had, the scenes where Dante and Nahima, that they played ball as well, were great, understood their character, and came in ready to play. It made the job a little bit easier on me because all I had to figure out is like, okay, in this moment, what are we saying? How does this work? But later on, afterwards, I was like, Wiz was telling me that she found someone, and I'm like, well, good luck, man. I don't know. And as it's first time at bat, so there's a little self-doubt there. But I remember seeing the first few things, and I'm going, oh wow, he made this out of all of what we brought to him. That was dope. I was dope as hell to me. And so even the finished product, everyone looked good. Like I'm a person where I would like, I still see things. I'm like, damn, we should have took this out of the way. Opening scene, I'm like, the boom shadows right there, whatever. But then I stopped because it's almost as if there was like nothing really to say other than we worked with what we had. And then you were able, as the editor, I was like able to kind of put that vision together in a visual way, in a really good way with the short amount of time that unfortunately we gave you, and it turned out really good. So once again, thank you so much for that quick turnaround and still being able to do what you do best with that editing. And that was great.
And thank you all for allowing me to be a part, because this is really my first time meeting all of you. So this is like honestly, that's probably why I haven't said so much, because I'm just taking it in. It's a beautiful conversation to to be had because I didn't know what to expect this evening. So I was just like, all right, let's just go ahead.
With Woods,
Bringing
you never know
people
what to
together.
expect with Woods.
Right, that part.
So again, just thank you. I mean, it was great to be able to just go through that process with you, and you know, hopefully we all get to work together again. It's kind of fun. So.
Absolutely. Speak it into
Speaking
existence.
of working together again, I got a lot of people asking when is part 2. Hello, I'm just saying, I'm throwing that into the ether.
I'll pitch this to the actors and actors, making sure. As actors, how did y'all feel about this first round? And Woods, you're not the producer or whatever. You can only put on your actor. You can only, because you like to wear so many hats, you're only putting the actor's hat. So you can only speak from the actor's perspective. I want to hear starting with
Naheema.
My brain's starting to go down. But Naheema, starting with you, and then we can work our way around. I want to hear the actors as far as what their process and what they felt like was great. Maybe they were wishing we, if we do a round 2, we can improve on all that stuff.
So for me, I was honestly really excited to do it because one, like Woods told me that me and Dante were gonna be working together again, and we worked together really well, even though we don't really like each other in real life.
Well, that's because you suck. That's all.
Anyway, yes, we do have very good on-camera chemistry, and I would love to see that explored more in if we do a part 2 or a full-length feature, because my character did mention that me and Dante's character goes to therapy as a couple, so it'll be cool to explore that and see what that's like. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I really liked that I got to bring in that mental health aspect of it through my character, because I'm super passionate about that, as you guys can tell.
Annabelle, I'm gonna need you to tell the people who goes next, because you're going in your order.
Okay, Dante, you follow up.
All right, cool. Personally, I would love it if we did a part 2, only because kind of to piggyback off Naheema's point, we had our main characters, the wonderful Retha and James. They was holding us down and stuff like that. But there were moments for even PJ and Andrew. Yes, PJ and Andrew, right? I like the fact that, again, I'll keep saying it because it's still funny to me. When he walks out, he's like, "Who's touching my woman?" Right? I would love to see them in their element, what happens in their home, even if it's just a little something, but just to see. I know. Look at Sharice right now. She's like, "Bro, I just said I'm not trying to do this no more."
Listen, they finna get their Oscar. You hear me?
But no, honestly, I would like to see more expounding on the characters. You know me, like you said, I'm ready to work. I love to play. So if that means that we were to do a part 2, I would definitely be open to it. Like Naheema said, I mean, our on-camera chemistry is actually very good, but in person, kind of thing. But if we get a chance to continue to work together on this, that'd be cool. Part 2, part 3, I'm here. What?
Both sides
Ain't nobody else peeped it. Wood seen it. Naheema ain't had that coat on the whole time we was on this.
She was gone.
I don't even know where that coat came from.
It's Zoom lingo. If the person put that camera on, they're not in that same position. They had left. They moved around. All right.
But to kind of wrap everything up, and as a director, Ruben, yeah, bro, if you're directing it again, you already know you got me. I'm not going nowhere, because brother, the way you directed everything, it was just so smooth. Wait, Woods, we not supposed to talk. You an actor like me, okay? We not putting you on your other hat.
I'm joking.
Yeah, Sharice and company. What do you guys? How was your, as people who would quote unquote who aren't actors? Yes, the on-screen chemistry as a couple worked well. I'm with Dante, that whole coming in and who's touching my woman? That was beautiful. That we all laughed at that because he was just a natural. But how was your experience as people who wouldn't call yourself actors, but got to act. You guys did a beautiful job. How do y'all feel about your experience?
And would you do it again? The answer is yes, but go ahead.
I would do it again because I know personally for me, I like doing it even though I was nervous every single time. Like, do I go? Is it the cue? Like, I freaked out. I freaked out a lot, and I was like, "Do I say that? Did I get my lines right?" I felt like I was more of a burden and kind of like anxious. But I know that for me, definitely Woods has invested in my life and in my career and goals. So I would always love to return the favor. I don't know about a whole scene, about our chemistry. We could just hug in one scene. That'd be great. I just don't. I feel like I'm thankful for the opportunity. I am not an actor, but I would definitely do it again just because it was fun. And it's. I told Wood she ruined movies for me. Like, I can tell when a scene is cut and when they did it again. Like, first, homegirl had her hair like this, and then it cuts another scene. It's supposed to be the same scene, but now her hair is like this. I'm like, oh, they cut right there and they put it together. And I'm like, I can't watch movies anymore because now I know where everything is and the angle and why they're doing that. But yes, I would do it again. I just would be very, very nervous. So.
And I'll be down for part 2. I definitely had a lot of fun. I mean, I felt I was a natural.
You were. We agree. We agree.
Yeah, I mean, really anything dealing with Woods, because she's family, I fully support her and her dreams, what she wants to do.
Y'all trying to make me cry and boohoo on this live. Y'all not gonna do it.
Appreciate y'all. Yeah, thank you. Y'all were great, and hopefully, if there's a round 2, I'm sure you'll be drafted like you won't have a choice. James, aka Gregory St. Billis.
Hello.
How was your experience stepping into James' shoes and playing our ingenue?
Oh man, it was a pleasure. Well, I remember you texted me and you asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said, well, I don't really know anything about the story, so I don't know if I want to do it. But you just said, don't worry, I got you, and I just said, cool. But I definitely am glad that I got to be a part of it because I met some great people on this set, and it was just a lot of fun. I think when you can jump onto a set and have fun, that's never a bad thing. You know what I mean? So I'm just thankful, and if we were to do a feature, then we can make it bigger and better. I have to say, the editor, you did a great job with the coloring. The coloring looks very, very good, and you made us look like rich Black people. So very, very saturated and colorful.
I was a rich auntie for 20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
First, you remember she was cool with going to McDonald's and getting that shake, bro.
Indeed.
Getting that strawberry shake.
Indeed.
I mean, my 4-piece. Don't play with me.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be opposed to a feature, and like I said, we could do it bigger and better this time. So and Sundance is up our alley anyway, so we could definitely do it if we wanted to.
And thank you, Greg. And Miss Woodleen Woods.
Annabelle's just playing with me because he already know that.
How was your experience having some type of experience outside the acting world, writing it, and then stepping into the acting role? How did you feel when you were stepping away from the producer hat and were able to put on your acting hat and fully get in?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't really done much where I haven't been the director and producer and actor at the same time. And so it really was a breath of fresh air to be able to step into the role and not have to also be the eyes watching at the same time. Like, and because I trust you, I trust your judgment, I trust your eye, and I know that you're not gonna have me out here looking crazy. I could really commit to the role and be in that moment. Of course, when I snapped out of the role, I was anal like, okay, so let's talk about this one. But being able to fully being able to fully just let go and be Aretha, yeah, that felt great. So I'm definitely down to do it again. There's definitely a lot more that I want to flesh out, especially now, like not doing it with restrictions, not doing it with a time limit, not doing it under the gun. Like, I think we could really create something even more beautiful than we already have. So I'd be down for sure.
Woods, do me a favor. Put this on IMDb. IMDb.
Oh.
That ain't no problem, except I don't know how to do that. So you're going to talk to me later and tell me how to do it. Amen.
I got you.
Okay. All right, so we've come to the end. I was saving this for last. I'm going to try and share my screen. We are on here much longer than I anticipated. Thank you for being troopers. Something happened one of the days that we were out. We went to Brooklyn Park, and we were filming. And as we were filming, I'm just going to play the clip, and then we're going to talk about it. And y'all tell me if you can hear the sound, okay? Because
I can't hear it.
Dante?
Sorry, Woods.
Okay.
Jesus,
Can y'all see?
it's
Can y'all see? Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you can hear the sound. I got my headphones and I don't know what's about to happen, but if you don't hear the sound, I'll try again. Y'all ready?
What we done did.
Can y'all hear it?
Yeah.
You gotta turn it up.
Okay, let me run it back.
Yeah, put some volume on that.
Let's see. The volume all the way up, cuz.
Maybe it's because your headphones in.
I don't know. But here we go. Oh, it's coming from this. Maybe I gotta do this. Better?
Oh yeah, that's better. Well, for me anyway.
A little bit.
What do you mean by 100? I was gonna say if I hear gunshots, I'm out of here.
That was a cut, right?
It is. That's gunshot.
I was a paid actor that I hired to evoke some
Man.
emotion in that scene, and I think he.
No, that guy lost his life though, and that was
Not even that's not even the guy who was intended. That was
Right.
the man who died wasn't the person who was intended for the bullet it was intended for in the first place. Someone took a stray. Yeah. As a director, I was like, that was one of the few moments where I was like, yo, let's just go ahead and wrap up for the day. Because I'm like, someone just died. Like, I don't, but we had to keep pushing. We had to keep moving with that. Yeah, that was.
Wait, hold on. Y'all heard the sound, yes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was low, but we heard it.
I'm sorry. I'm technologically slow. But before you continue, Annabelle, I just want to tell the audience who probably didn't hear it. We were filming, and when you saw my face turn, there was gunshots that rang out in the park, and then a pause, and then some more gunshots, and that's when we was like, "Oh yeah, they shooting. Let's go." And that's what that clip was. Go ahead, Annabelle. The floor is yours.
No, that was pretty much it. That was just. Yeah, we had to find another park and shoot a scene. We finished it, but I was just like, I live in Crown Heights, so it should have been expected, but still, that's a weird thing to catch on tape. That's a crazy thing to catch on tape. It's kind of crazy that we have it, and it's still that day. I still remember it clear. So, very surreal moment.
I remember being on the phone with you, Woods, because we were doing the scene as if you're talking to PJ on the phone. And I heard it and I'm like, I think I said, "Are you all right? Those were gunshots, right? Those are gunshots. You need to," and I'm panicking a little bit over the phone because I hear the gunshots and I don't know what's happening, but all I heard was like, oh, time to go. And I was like, oh, what happened? And then to hear the news today that man lost his life, so close to where you guys were in the park.
That was about 100 feet. It was, I am later, way months later, walked actually in the courts and kind of figure out where it was that the person lost their life at, and just walked past it, looked at it, and like, that's crazy. There was kids around that day. The park was filled that day. There was kids. There was I don't know, man. That's another Black life lost. I don't know the reason or rhyme behind it. I just don't know if it was that significant for bullets to fly, and then someone who was not even involved in it woke up one day and didn't know it was gonna be their last day.
Yeah.
I think what struck me in that whole day was, for one, okay, so I hopefully y'all don't think I'm weird. When we were walking into the park, I heard in my spirit the word gunshots, right? And I told Nahima this, like, I don't know why I just heard gunshots in my head, like the word. But then I saw this lady who was doing yoga, and I was like, oh, it ain't nothing. It's just a nice little park. The kids is here, people playing basketball. And within like 20 minutes, the gunshots rang off. That's why in the clip I said, I was about to say, if I hear gunshots, I'm out of here. But we had the choice to either rap or keep going, and we chose to keep going. And it really, at the end of the day, when I got home, because I was like, we have to submit this film, so we got to get all the shots we planned for today. And so this happened, but we got to keep going. And then when I got home, that's when I finally let it sit in that happened today. And it really like hurt on the inside. And I just thought about it again, going back to the points that we were talking about before. Why are we so conditioned to keep going? Like, that's a moment to pause.
I think
that's a moment to stop. Go ahead.
I think when you're determined and you're passionate about something, and you honor the dead, and you honor what happened, but at the same time, you got to keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the midst of adversity, you keep pushing to get things done, and you never want to see that happen. Someone lose their life like that, because it is sad. So that was a life, and that was someone's husband, someone's, but you got to keep going. Mm-hmm. So
I guess my question is, like, how do you differentiate between when to press on and when to pause? Like, for us, I'm like, we just went to another park. It was like, all right, this happened, we'll deal with it when we deal with it. And we kept filming. But I remember going onto the Citizens app, and there was a group leader who had some kids there at the park, and it waited till the body was moved and it went back to the park. And I'm just like, man, if you don't take those kids back inside the schoolhouse and shut the door behind you, like, how, like, when is it that the fervor to keep going becomes toxic? You get what I'm saying? And y'all don't got to answer that. That's just the question that was sitting on me that day, thinking about everything that happened.
I feel like it was okay to keep going that day because you're on a deadline. I definitely, like, we had just like already gotten so far with everything, and we were just like on a pace already in it. So Greg was saying, it's not to like dismiss anything or like, act like, oh, that didn't just happen, let's keep going. But it's also in a sense of like, we don't know this person. Like, that doesn't make the death any less like, important. But it's just the fact of, oh, we have this project, we're here, let's just keep going. And honestly, like, it makes for conversation now to be like, like a good talking point, a good discussion. But I definitely feel like when you start to feel just like when I feel like you instinctively know when to stop, when literally I feel like you're trying to keep going, but you literally can't. Like your work starts to not even become your work starts to lose its power, or like you start to just burn out. Like I feel like you just know, like you just know,
Yeah.
like to stop. Even as a team, if you and your team are on one accord and of like one mind and on the same vibe, like you guys would know, like, okay guys, I think it's like time to just like call it a day. Like let's just do this, let's do that. But I feel like when you're in tune with yourself and like I said, your team, you definitely know when's the time to lean into pressure and when's the time to kind of back off.
And not for nothing. Oh, my bad, authors. And not for nothing, like when it happened, I'll just give like an example of something that happened to me, not similar to that, but there was a time where I was driving and it was in traffic, and literally, I want to say like, no lie, maybe like 4 cars behind me, this 18-wheeler ran over the divider and smashed into like 5 cars, and I could literally see it in my rear view window. Like if I would have been like 10 seconds late leaving work or whatever the case is, I could have been involved in that. But when it happened, I didn't think anything of it. I was driving, listening to music. I was like, yo, they wilding behind me. And I just drove home. And I literally got home and I told my sister, and she was like, wait, so you almost got hit by a truck? I was like, oh, wait, damn, I almost did get hit by a truck. Like to your point, it's like sometimes you're in work mode, or you're in your own head, or you're doing your own thing that you don't really like pay attention to the severity. Like for that scene, right? The purpose of why y'all were there was to get the scene done. So like to your point about being conditioned, I've personally heard gunshots before. So let's say I was at the park when it happened. I would have probably been like, yo, Ruben, we got to get this done though. So like, you okay? I'm good. Let's shoot the rest. But to your point, is like, I don't know when we take a chance to like process it. I never really process it things when it's like in the moment. I always process it after the fact. So like, again, with the truck thing happening, it wasn't something that I processed in the moment. It was like, oh, damn, I almost died. It was like, nah, they wilding behind me. And then I got home and I was like, oh, damn, nah, that was actually a really serious thing. Like tires were screeching and all this stuff. You could see the cars like crunched up against the wall from like the truck was going like full speed kind of thing. But I wasn't paying attention to that because I was trying to get home. I had a long day. I was just happy that I was in front of everything and I could get home. So like to process certain things, we've also got to take a step back to like be in the moment to understand what's going on. But sometimes we've got like, you know, we got work to do. We got things on our mind. We're not really focused on it till afterwards. And it's like, oh, damn, like, you know, Nahima said, bringing up this conversation now, it's like, that happened. You know, you guys lived it. And now we're seeing it. And it's like, oh, damn, nah, that's real. That's real stuff right there.
Yeah. Mm. Does anybody have any takeaways or final words they want to share with the audience before? There are still 4 people rocking with us.
Shout out to them,
y'all.
Shout out to them.
God bless y'all. Now, does anybody have any like final things they want to say before I sign us out? Anybody? Alrighty then. I want to thank everybody who tuned in. I want to thank every one of you guys who are on here. Today I recorded this week's service for the Children's Church because I am also low-key a children's pastor right now. And I was speaking to them about the parables of the talents. And I just want to leave you all with everybody who's watching and everybody who's on here. God has entrusted all of us, or whomever you believe in. I personally believe in God, has entrusted all of us with a lot of talents, and each of you have used it for this film. And those in the comments, I don't know what you're doing with your talents, but I am just praying that anyone that you have buried, that this is the season where you unearth them and you sow them and you multiply them. And I just pray blessing over all of you. And if there's anything y'all doing, I support you. So go and be great. Go and be blessed. Take care of your mental health. Amen. And we'll see you next time on part 2 of Super. Yeah.
Amen.
Y'all heard it. It's out there, spoken into existence.
All right.
Woods, I'll get together with you about that.
I'm doing the second one for free.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Well, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Later.